Yes. Sorry, my feed keeps cutting and jarring a little bit, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feed. No, my
Ew.
feet are fine.
Are we good to transition over?
Yes.
I'm transitioning on that. No, I'm sorry. Okay. I thought you said your feet for a second, Dottie, and I was like, your feet are cutting and jarring.
Is the rest of it
On-screen.
scripted
Okay,
or hers? Because nobody sent me a
starting off
script. I'm like,
right.
shh.
Don't tell Wayne. Don't tell Wayne.
Talking.
That's your
Fine,
fault for not coming
Hello,
first.
and you are... You can hit that afterwards. You are incredibly welcome along to the very, very first... And that wasn't scripted or rehearsed. That is what you could expect this evening.
Oh. No.
Sorry. There's just going to be a dog barking every now and then. I apologize.
All day today, we were slaving away. You are very, very welcome along to the first episode of Random DMs. My name is Declan, perpetual Dungeon Master here. Have you something to say? Just checking.
Sounds okay.
My audio robotic for anybody else. I hope not. Is he playing a cyborg? I don't think so, telepathic narwhal. But if it's gotten, is it getting better or worse?
We all sound like
I tried to
cyborgs.
fix it.
We are
That's the
all
thing.
cyborgs.
I
Beep
hope
boop.
it's work. I don't know.
Change it to use your mic
Yeah,
in
this is an
OBS
issue with
instead of the
latest
NDI
version
stream.
of NDI.
You know, like, yeah.
Oh, are
Is
we
it
all? Are
still-
the rest
is
of
it
us okay?
like
Or is it just
super
Declan?
bad? Or is it like...
You can hear our dulcet tones.
Oh.
So while Declan is doing that, I'm just going to show off my dinner. Okay, so
Oh, no.
I'm eating chicken wings. Chicken wings. That's what I'm doing. And this is not. I'm not going to do it on stream as best I can because I think that will be disgusting. People just like, oh, har, har. But that's my dinner. There we
I
go.
ate a gigantic walnut whip and I got some on my nose and my nose is still sticky.
You missed that, folks. It was looked like a giant poo.
It genuinely
Yeah.
looks like the poop emoji.
Yes.
It
That's
didn't
what it looked
taste
like.
like poo.
Oh.
You'll be
We're-
happy to know.
We were venturing into the realm of German streamers there. It was like Scheiße streaming. There's just a big poo,
Once again,
you know? So,
OnlyFans guys, it's dropping at the end of this, and I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Dahi,
Kidding.
do you have a walnut whip on your OnlyFans?
Whoosh. Yeah, I do.
Oh. Jacqueline, it's all out of control. Wrangle us. Wrangle us,
You leave us
DM.
alone.
yeah. And we're all DMs, for Christ's sakes. Oh.
We're
Not
just going to
this week,
change
it's
the
only
title
Jacqueline.
of the stream to Feral DMs next.
Oh.
Because it's...
This is what happens when they let us near character sheets that we can actually roll for.
Yeah. I'm just so excited to just play this. I'm just so excited.
How's it going, Declan?
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Look how angry he looks.
Okay,
It's
is
my
that,
favourite part.
Is that
Oh.
working?
Oh. We can hear you anyway, but...
I mean, yeah, we can hear you fine, but I don't think we're not on the stream.
Give us a little monologue there, Declan.
That was...
They say yes!
Okay. Thanks, James.
Thanks.
I take back the... No, I don't take it back. So... You fixed my problem. So it's too late. You should
you,
held out
friends.
ransom. So sorry about that. I am not the resident tech person around here. It's James, actually.
No, are you not?
You're doing fine, Declan. Keep going. You're doing great.
Fiona.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Oh, I can't wait.
I've what?
Oh, I can't wait to flex.
You have to act like you're not biased at the start, at least.
Oh, I can't wait. So very, very sorry about that. As I was saying, this is the very first episode of Random DMs, and you were all very, very welcome along. I will speed through some of it. I'll just skip over Fiona, so it doesn't really matter. Random DMs is a brand new series here at D8 Dungeon where every arc or every season or whatever you want to call it, we will be running one of the established Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. And we figured first series might as well start with the starter set. So we are playing Lost Mines of Phandelver. If you've never played it before, you'll be playing along with us. I have run it, but I got bored, so I homebrewed it to make it extra dramatic. So my challenge, and what I promised Philippa when I was chatting with them at the very, very start of this concept was, I promise not to homebrew it, to keep it really tight in terms of schedule, I promise. Because this is a very nice self-contained adventure that I had to homebrew in some extra drama for my own sake.
Oh.
Joining me around the DM's table, because the people you see on stream, aside from myself, one of them will find themselves in the DM's chair in 2 weeks' time, continuing on where I left off the notes. So every session you will have a brand new DM who continues the story through their character's eyes and through their own dungeon master style. And for the most part, people around the table have dungeon master experience. Except one. Could you guess which person that might be?
Oh my goodness, who could it be?
Who would dare to throw themselves into the foray of streaming and running D&D at the same time for the first time?
A mad woman.
A mad woman.
Or man. Or person.
But as you can see, I am joined by Wayne, Philippa, Dahi, and Fiona. And if you were following us on social media at D8 Dungeon, particularly over Twitter, you would just have seen today and yesterday kind of how awesome these folks are. Everybody put up these like random facts about themselves, and like I said, like, is there anything that you're working on that you can, we can help push for you on our platform? And just this incredibly wonderful array of talented people. And then there was Fiona and myself with nothing. So
Stop.
Excuse
Stop.
me?
Stop.
you pimped the stuff we do every other Monday.
And is that not quality
Quality.
TTRPG,
It is.
Declan?
What even is Critical Role, huh? What even is Critical?
Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
Doesn't have a patch on us.
it's because they don't know who we are. But
Yet.
self depreciation aside, every 2 weeks at this time you will, if you want to continue on with us, you will see a different DM take on the mantle of running the session, and I will find myself out of the dungeon master chair, and somebody else will find themselves in it. The DM's character will continue to play along, so just, it's not like the character suddenly disappears. So in 2 weeks' time, if it's Calda who is going to be our DM, Calda will still participate just from Fiona's perspective. So she might actually be successful. That slipped out. I'm sorry. That slipped out.
What's the opposite of inspiration again? Because Declan's going to get that when I'm doing
Are you giving me negative inspiration?
I detract from all your rolls.
minus 10 from everything.
You're baned for the entire game.
Yes.
Dahi, I'm just going to write that down.
Okay.
Anything goes when you're DM.
It does. Before we jump into the very first session, just to very quickly shout out some of our good friends here at the show and people who sponsor D8 Dungeon. If you're looking to get your hands on a campaign planner or a player journal, some lovely notebooks that you can customize to your heart's content, then we recommend you check out The Rook and the Raven. And if you use the code D8 Dungeon at checkout, you get yourself a nifty little discount. And a portion of the sale goes back to us, and we can continue making stuff. And outside of that, our friends at Dakota Irish have given us a discount code to pass on to everybody in chat, everybody who's joining us. And if you use the code, the code Dream Dates all this month, you will get 10% off your order at the checkout. So and that's on some amazing dice. Like Dakota Irish have really expanded into lots of different things. So dice trays, Dungeons and Dragons paraphernalia, T-shirts, tea,
Candles.
the candles are really good.
Candles.
Yeah. So
I think at some point they're going to actually offer a small goblin to go with
Yes.
everything. That's how far they're going to expand into things. An actual
It's-
goblin will
there's-
arrive with your shit.
so
I hope you're not
great.
lying, Wayne. I'm going to be very disappointed.
Me? Nah.
So we do recommend you check out Dakota Irish and The Rook and the Raven for all your TTRPG goodies and such. Everybody good? Okay.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Oh, Calda's character's dead, sorry. On arrival to the Copper Quill. So, again, for anybody who has played Lost Mines of Phandelver, or if you're thinking of picking it up, I am starting our first session with a prologue. So something that kind of gets the party united before we delve into the full adventure. That'll be someone else's headache in 2 weeks' time.
Do you mean fan delve into the adventure?
Oh,
Okay, baned. Ozfire is baned. Oh, woeful.
don't worry, I'll get rid of that Wayne when I'm DM. It's fine.
That's all right.
As we, it's been, as the letter kind of comes through the little, as you find it in your mailbox or on the floor outside on the other side of your letterbox, you pick it up and you see a name etched on the back with an address in the city of Neverwinter, and you can't quite recall how many years it's been. It feels like it was only a couple of months, maybe even a couple of weeks, but it's the folly of time and youth and the life of an adventurer. People drift in and out, but as you rifled through the contents, an old friend, Oster Cure, a fellow adventurer and longtime friend, has reached out and invited you to a small reunion, a gathering of old friends in his tavern in the city of Neverwinter. It's the same tavern where you all would set out on your first big adventure to, and your mind kind of drifts back through kind of a haze of nostalgia, the battles of swords and spells, words and fists. It was an intense time, those years. And there's a part of you that kind of just wants to curl up on the chair or throw yourself into bed or get stuck into your gardening, whatever it might be that the thing since retirement that's kind of kept you going. A good book, a plot of land, grandkids maybe. But a chance to meet the others, a chance to reconnect, a chance to relive the glory days, you can't pass it up. Without much hesitation and with little planning, you have set out and arrived at Neverwinter. And coincidentally, other people have arrived kind of around the same time. And as you cross the threshold of the Copper Quill, immediately the place hasn't. It's like not even a flagon is out of place. The fireplace and the musty, cross-eyed boar that was hanging over the fireplace is still there. The old tapestries are just as faded, just as dusty. The only thing you notice is that it's a lot quieter than you remember it. It's a lot quieter than those early days. And the other thing that looks slightly off, or not even off, but just slightly out of place, is that for once on the inside of the bar, with his back turned to you, you see the familiar broad shoulders of Oster. And he turns with just a kind of a smile. He's time has been good to him, but he doesn't have that same muscle, that same kind of clear definition. His eyes are a little tired, but his smile is still very, very bright, and he's looking. He's still looking healthy. He's still looking strong. If even a little bit of that muscle has kind of disappeared with age and faded with time. When he sees you, he just waves and he gestures over at a table, and Calda, Deceit, and Osfire Thalia, as ye each enter, what do we see, or what does Calda look like today? What does Calda look like right now?
Okay, I'm gonna try and imagine someone that's looking very delicious when they're older, because that's my aspiration as a person. I don't think I'm doing very well at the moment, but I think Calda is. So when you see her, she's medium height. She'd be about 5'5", 5'6". She's a satyr. She's got kind of ashen grey skin, covered in black tattoos with unknown writing. You can't quite figure out what it says. Dark symbols all over her that sometimes seem to move, and then when you look again, they're not moving. She's got dark eyes, kind of dimly lit from within. Lots and lots of copper and golden hair streaked with grey piled up in a bun on her head, and large horns curling forward and back. A wide copper band around her neck, a black satin robe put right up to the leg, very sexy. Grey fur on her legs, dotted with patches of black. A copper belt around her waist, and some copper rings on her horns. And that's Calda, baby.
Calda, as the first to arrive, Oster kind of just greets you very warmly. He asks what you've been doing, and just as you are about to answer, Deceit steps through the door.
Of course they do.
Of course. So, of course, Deceit would come in after the deliciously aging person, as Calda called herself. As Deceit is aged quite similarly. Deceit has pinkish skin that still has the same kind of tone as it always has. They have deep, dark purple horns that curl along with their long, dark, almost navy blue hair that is straight up until their shoulders, and then it waves out into long waves that come down to their lower back. They're wearing these beautiful like frilly shirt with a apparently we've done something to Skype.
No,
Sorry.
Okay.
And over it they've got like an overcoat that is again equally as ostentatious and frilly. There's like golden threads and pinks and blues and lots of kind of jewel tone pastel-y kind of colors. They walk with their chest almost hitting their chin. It's so like pumped up. They seem to kind of like almost dance in the door, and before Calda even meets Oster, they have like flounced their way in front to give like a little mwah, mwah to both. Because of course they have. And Deceit is just as obnoxious as they always have been.
Oster kind of looks to Calda for a little support, or like kind of a just, or is this okay? Should we say something? And then as quickly as Deceit kind of breezes and barges in the same sort of movement into the tavern, following right behind them, in kind of stomps Thalia.
So Thalia, I think actually it's a bit of an uneven stomp now. She's a bit older. She has not aged gracefully. There's a lot of so Thalia is a very tall, very impressive looking leonine with a golden fur, but is now flecked with a lot of grey on her muzzle, and has got various scars all over her body, but is still like ripped. Like she's now a ripped grandma. She's buff still. Like she's got her arms out, sun's out, guns out. But she's still got like this long flowing like sort of hide cloak behind her. And she's got like this big shaggy mane of blonde hair that's now got bits of grey in as well, and but has like a lot of elaborate braids kind of keeping it back. And yeah, she's still got that old warhammer that she had all that time ago. Is it warhammer or a great axe? I can't remember what I have, but whatever it is, it's a very large weapon, and she's still got it strapped to her back. But these days, she's a little slower than she used to be when she was a tall and lanky youth. And yeah, she comes and just sort of, I think, barges to see a little bit and is like, "Oh, you haven't changed a bit," and then sits down at the bar stool as well.
And just sort of in Thalia's shadow, Osfire has kind of come in, sort of like obfuscated by Thalia, only purely based on height, like not intentionally blocking him, but Osfire, you're kind of just trying to kind of get past Thalia, and then as they move towards the bar straight away, everybody sees you standing there. I think you're muted.
You're muted on Skype, Wayne.
Yeah. Now, I think Osfire is probably the shortest of the group, because everyone else seems to be tall and lanky and aged very well. Osfire looks like a cobbler's thumb in a set of armor. He was like, even in his youth, he looked like he'd been around the block a fair few times. Completely bald, and the only thing adorning his head and face are three large, what look like claw marks that rake down over the left-hand side of his face and kind of curve off around that and kind of off to the side, and it seems to be where they came off. The claw marks came off his head. It also took the top part of his left ear. And there's cuts and marks everywhere across his skin as well. But he has a cheerful demeanor, sparkling grey eyes, and like sunken wrinkles everywhere. But he's always looked like that. There's like when he first met everyone, he looked exactly the same. Like they could say he hasn't aged, but he looked like he's always has been aged. Stocky, broad-shouldered, but short, even for a halfling. And he kind of takes the group all in with a big broad smile and just nods, and finds himself a chair and hops up on it and just kind of leans on the bar and like, "Well, hello everybody."
I really didn't think the four of you would. I mean, how many years has it been?
Oh my. Well, it's been quite some time. This place looks positively the same, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity. I wanted to see everyone, and I'm just kind of like waving.
Oster.
Calder will try and do the same wave, but like slow and weird.
Yeah, Oster's kind of looking around, and then kind of he looks at the door. I gotta say, you all look great. Like,
Well, of course we do.
and I'm trying. I mean this with like all due respect. I was full sure, and he kind of looks straight at you, Thalia. Out of all of us, that you definitely wouldn't. You know.
I mean, lots of things tried, and she points to various scars all over her body. But, luck went out, it would seem.
What happened to the things that fit those to you?
Most of them are dead now.
I mean, we've met a few.
Details later.
Yes, we've got lots of stories to catch up on.
And Osfar, you literally haven't aged a day.
Oh, well, it's the whole old man young syndrome. I was old looking young, so I stayed old looking longer.
Oh, I thought
So
I thought you were going to say you're Benjamin Buttoning at this.
yeah, no. By the end of all this, it'd be just like, well, we had a great time. So thank you.
I will give you inspiration if that's where you go with it.
Oh, I'll take it back. I'll take it all back.
Yeah. Well, I've managed to keep myself healed quite well as we go.
Oster kind of he takes the floor. Even I, you're gonna get a kick out of this, and he just at the back on the back far wall of the bar. There's a small little hallway, and he dips down it, and from it there's just this rummaging and crashing. You just say, "Oh, help yourselves to whatever. Drinks on me, I guess."
Deceit swoops behind the bar and just starts concocting a cocktail or two.
And with this, just with this kind of like just kind of heaving sort of sigh, Oster comes back holding just this small little wooden chest. I've kept this. You really and he's just looking like you remember when he opens it up, and inside there's just a really strong musty wet smell just kind of erupts out of it.
Calda inhales.
That's not going to be good for your constitution.
I like it.
And he goes to pick it up, and like just this, if you've ever like just like soaked a small stack of paper, and it kind of like it's just like one big sort of clot of sheet. You can see faintly kind of like what may have been like dyes or colors on it, and it like a chunk of it just falls off and back into the trunk with a heavy thud. Oh, it was the map.
You're joking.
Oh,
Is that back in that little town, that little hamlet?
yeah, it's still there.
You're kidding. That's been so long.
I never took you for a hoarder. I'm just holding on to old things.
I mean, have you seen this place? Not to. I mean, but it's quaint. There's a lot of everything's still here.
It's like a museum to ourselves. Have you actually done anything different in these past years, Asta?
That's brilliant.
Not to be too upfront, I know I can be a bit harsh on these things, but what have you done for yourself in all this time?
No, not at all. I appreciate that honesty, Thalia. I always have. It was just when Dad got sick and Mom needed help to run the bar, I kind of you can't really adventure and run a bar at the same time. It's not really feasible, and well, it kind of feels weird just to leave the place go without me. So I've just stayed here. You don't have drinks, and he grabs a few more bits and pieces, and he's just kind of pulling out kind of glasses, and he's looking a little perplexed. You remember how it all got started, yeah? You remember how we all met?
Oh, I think so.
I remember something about. I came into town and I was looking for work, and then I found a notice or something, and then it's a bit hazy. I got bonked on the head a few times over the years, and it's kind of getting a bit hazy and trying to remember. But yeah, I think that was the start of it for me, was finding a notice of something for. You looking for friends or people to share on a thing?
Okay, well, the map might be in ruins, but okay, just wait. and he tears back out of the bar again down the hallway over the mess. And you hear footsteps going up some stairs. Overhead, there's something getting dragged. Heavy footsteps. A bit of dust falls from the ceiling.
Meanwhile, Calda's going to turn to Deceit and say, "My usual, darling."
Of course, I was already working on it. And I've poured like 2 Cosmos, basically.
I'd recommend somebody order some food because it's actually quite good here.
Where did you pull that from, Oscar?
We love the props.
I'm actually giving
We
you
love the props.
inspiration. You can carry inspiration for that.
Gosh,
as-
Oscar was always the sentimental one, wasn't he?
Give me a roll of a d20, Deceit, and if you have you have the drinks in front of you. Are you proficient in brewer supplies?
Yes.
Absolutely
I
not.
checked
Okay.
their character sheet.
You can just give me a big old roll of a d20 to see how good these Cosmos are.
I mean, normally I have people do them for me. That's a 9.
Yeah, you basically
not-
wrote. It's just a random glass of alcohol that you've written Cosmo on in some eyeliner.
Oh God!
I just turned to Calda and I just had it to her. It's just like, just like old times.
Bottoms up, dear.
Calda will take it and just
And as,
and put it to her mouth and then put it straight back down. But she'll
as
still hold the stem.
Deceit is like holding this face of this is delicious, but it's like,
I twin a spell and cast Spare of the Dying on both of them, just to be on the safe side.
No, it really is like old times.
What are you, Thalia, as Calda and Deceit hang on to what remains of their kidneys and liver, and Osfire is preparing to call an ambulance. What are you doing at this moment?
I'm searching for a little cool area because Thalia's on the milk diet at the moment. She's on a, she's on a cut. So she's like, I got to maintain my plans. Ever since I figured out what works for my tummy, I have to stick with it. Remember how upset I was back in the day? Half of that turns out tummy trouble.
That's
So
nice.
she finds some milk and just is like knocks it back.
And as you settle back into the Copper and Quill, and again, your voice is sort of echoing around the bar and down into the little back kitchen, and the 4 of you can't help but just kind of, again, it's that wave of nostalgia, that haze that just sort of wraps itself around you, and you kind of get lost. Calda and Deceit in the odd little eye glance and smirk and half-hidden giggle. Osfire in the bowls full of fried chicken wings that lay at your feet many a night. And Thalia, it was just that, like, sitting in the corner, sipping on everything but milk and being mysterious and silently agonizing over stomach aches.
It's really silently burpy.
Yeah. It adds to my charm. Oster reappears, and this time he's carrying a rather heavy-looking tome. And all of you... Yeah, I just to call out McGurganator ZX. I also gave everything but milk. Really, Thalia, you should be avoiding everything but milk.
Did he mean butt milk or butt milk?
Butt milk? No, okay. It's hard for me now to say the word without it making sound like butt milk.
Yeah.
not bought milk.
She's a Leonin, the rules don't apply.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
You see.
She's on the kitten formula.
Like the old lady kitten.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. A really big, heavy, dusty looking book. And all of you recognize it. It's his diary. You don't. And he kind of holds it aloft. And he opens up the first page. you were right, Osfire. It was in the marketplace. Like,
Yeah.
That was the day I was buying a new handbag. Oh, I remember. That was quaint.
That's your diary where you wrote the thing that we saw that you didn't want anybody to see. Remember that thing? And she just smiles at you and holds the smile.
you're baned.
Anna has been.
Does anyone else remember the thing?
Oh,
When he had the thing in his thing.
this sounds like an intimate moment between you two.
He read it aloud one night over the campfire. I can never forget.
I'm getting a very distinct feeling that you want to be a wee bit nostalgic about this whole thing.
Calda or me? As he kind of like tries to avoid your gaze, Calda, Oster kind of opens up the diary, and a small slip of paper slips out from it, and it's the sign that he posted that day, Osfire, that you read, and you can't help but feel a little. The nostalgia kind of does seep in, and Oster starts to kind of read it in great detail. It's even down to the weather, the time of the day, how busy the market square was. And you find yourselves kind of all drifting back to that moment. Some 40, 45 years ago. And Oster is standing in the middle of Miller's Yard, a small marketplace just in the kind of sort of south kind of west of Neverwinter City. And as he kind of finishes pinning it to the board, there is a halfling kind of standing just next to him, just kind of slightly below hip height. And Oster is a very svelte looking grey-skinned Air Ganassi with a very, very tight fade haircut. The middle of it kind of pulled back into a long braid. These really, really soft blue eyes, tight muscles the whole way down, and he's wearing just a very, very simple shirt and kind of loose-fitting pants, and really, really comfortable looking soft leather and cloth shoes. And he's just kind of looking around kind of eagerly for anybody to notice his finely crafted sign that he's pinned on the notice. And he looks down at you, Osfire. What does Oster see?
So Osfire at this point in his life was traveling from the far north of Icewind Dale, so he still kind of has his skins and furs on him. He has a shield slung over his back and a mace tied to his belt at the side, but he has like a furs neck, kind of a very fluffy kind of neck collar around his jacket, sleeveless for the most part. Then he has furred bracers, and underneath the kind of the fur coat, then you see a small halfling size set of chainmail that seems to clink as he kind of moves in, trying to have a look at the sign. He still bears the same. It's the same cobbler's thumb and a set of armor. He has the same, like that wound on his face is still there, but it's a lot fresher, and part of it looks like it's still healing. He does seem chipper, but like there is a kind of a edginess, not an edginess, a twitchiness to him as he's now in a place that's populated by a large, dense amount of people, and he's kind of peeking in, kind of looking up. Because how tall is Oster like, compared to Osfire?
Oster is like 6'4".
And how high up did he nail that since notice?
Well, he was going for kind of about like his eye level, but when he saw you kind of looking up at the signs, he did go to the bottom.
Okay.
It's kind of half kind of flapping in the wind at the bottom of the sign.
And I kind of reach out and just pin it down where with a kind of a gloved hand, and I just started to look over. It's like, hey, youngin, you looking for some folks to take part in a job of some sort?
Are you talking to me?
Well, you did just pin this sign on the board, so yeah, I'll be talking to you.
Yeah, I did. But like, you are talking to me.
That's kind of how this goes. Conversations tend to happen between two or more people,
Okay. Okay.
for the most part, at least.
Chill. Okay. Hi, I'm Oster, and he like right over your head, and then he immediately points his hand down towards you. I'm Oster Cure. I posted the sign.
Yeah. I'm Osfar Tall Barrel. Pleasure to meet you, boy. Can I ask,
Wow.
is this a paying job?
I like now, like right now.
Well, after before, really. I mean, as long as there's gold involved, or silver, or even a copper at this stage, really.
Okay, well, I don't have anything on me right now, but like I can ask like my mom and my dad, and if they have like I get my allowance at the end of the month, but they take out like my room and board out of it, so I don't have a lot left. But like if that's, I mean, I can give you like a down payment in like 2 weeks time, or I could ask for an advance.
Just let's slow this down, boy. How old are you, son?
20.
Okay. No, that's not too bad. And this type of thing that you're asking what you're advertising, what is this something that you've done before, or is this like your first time?
Okay, I'm gonna level with you, and he
Yeah.
squats down real low.
Oh, yeah.
It's my first time.
Okay. Right.
How am I doing? How
And
am I doing?
you're doing okay, son. And Osford pats him on the shoulder as he's kneeled there. Let me
Class.
just
Cool.
I'm just gonna give you some friendly advice, okay? Not everybody is gonna be as forthcoming about their intentions as maybe I would be. I am very much I don't believe in swindling good people, and you seem like good people, boy. You do. So let me warn you that you put up a sign like that, you're gonna attract all sorts, and they're gonna take you for whatever you may have, whatever this allowance thing is that you have. So maybe I should stick by you and see if anyone else comes along, and we can talk, and maybe I'll work in a finder's fee or something for whoever we get on this little quest or whatever it may be. And
Okay.
you can fill me in about the details because I think somebody needs to show you the ropes at least.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of rope. Like I read it in a book that every adventurer needs like a lot of rope. So I've just been like, I've like 2 bags full of it.
Oh, sweet saloon. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. You let's show me that rope, boy, and we'll go sort something out. Yeah, okay, good stuff. You're not paying me with the rope, right?
Oh well, not now. Uh, like, but I mean, it's really good rope. And at at that moment, uh, Thalia, you have stepped into Miller's yard. It's I mean, it's a busy little marketplace. It's about mid afternoon, and it's quite a balmy day so far. And you've you're not really quite sure who you're looking for or what. It's just you're passing through almost. Maybe a job crops up. Maybe you bump into someone you know. Who kind of knows? But something something feels a little off in the yard, and you can you over the usual kind of hullabaloo of people trading back and forth. There's just something like the hairs at the back of your neck are standing a little bit. There's like a little unease or an unedginess here in the marketplace. Um, what are you doing at this moment?
I think Thalia is kind of in the marketplace looking just kind of for stuff to do. She kind of came to Neverwinter to find herself a little bit. Like she's a bit lost at the moment. And this version of Thalia is much younger, taller. Well, not taller, but as in the same height, but like lankier. She's not as broad. But she's got like the frame of like a young adult who's going to grow into her frame, if that makes sense. And I think she's like, yeah, she's just kind of here for supplies and just to see what's happening and make, just see where the road takes her at the moment is kind of her main thing. But yeah, feeling a bit like, oh, it seems strange around here. She's sort of already kind of like reaching nervously, like a little nervous tick towards her great axe, just like, nope, that's not appropriate in the marketplace. Let's see. Yeah, and kind of looks around for what's kind of making her feel weird.
Give me a perception check.
First roll.
Woohoo! My perception is quite good. 12.
There's, again, like I said, there's
Okay.
there's the usual back and forth with kind of merchants and customers. There's some guards kind of patrolling by and people stopping them looking for assistance and whatnot. But your eye kind of lands on the just slightly off the center of the marketplace, where there are quite a few stalls and wagons kind of pulled up, and what you notice is they're kind of right beside the notice board, and you do see a very tall, young Air Ganassi chatting away to a halfling. But what kind of catches your... And they look odd. Like, they look... Because they couldn't be further afield in terms of even their dress sense.
Yeah.
But just slightly past them, you do see a dwarven merchant arguing with a tabaxi. They're arguing over the cost of some goods.
Doesn't seem right. This should be a place of trade where everyone is free to have the same prices applied. That seems fair to me. She puzzles through in her brain. Thalia has a strong sense of justice and is like, I'm gonna go survey this. And she kind of is like, she keeps alternating between like standing up proudly and then being like, oh no, I'm kind of tall. Like that sort of thing where you're like, I'm not used to being this tall yet. I've only grown recently. And yeah, it's like, I'm gonna just stand over here in case anything happens.
Osfire, and there's like a tapping on your shoulder.
Yes.
And he's kind of looking like he's trying to make his eyes kind of look like he's trying to point with his eyes. Like, do you? I mean, she looks like she's really tough. She looks really strong.
I agree, she does. But I don't think I've seen many of her type before.
Do you think she wants to be like in the party?
I mean, yeah. Well, let's go have a conversation. I mean, this is your thing. I'll just listen in, and I will kind of guide you along the way. And as we go to move, I kind of put my hand on him and I'll cast guidance just to give him anything. Just as there's anything there.
Any help at all?
Any help at all. Just any help at all.
He kind of immediately, like, it's just like a jerk reaction. He stands up bolt right. And he just takes 2 steps towards you, Thalia, and his hand completely outstretched. And it was like, hi, this is my best friend Osfire. Can you be my friend?
No.
Sorry. No. Okay. Hi, I'm Osfire, and we're gonna go and do... No, I'm Oster. This...
Are you okay?
Take a breath.
Do you want to be in my party?
Your party? I'm kind of... she's like got half an ear trying to listen to make sure this like Tabaxi's doing okay. She's like, I mean, maybe where's the party?
Oh, well, we we have to go to my parents' house first, because I have to tell them that I'm in a party and that I'm going to go and do stuff. But it's like a really old. Wait a minute. And he looks.
What sort of party is it? Like a phone party, or like just a normal rave? Like I don't do those ones.
No,
that
I'm not.
much.
I'm not allowed either.
It's not my scene.
Osfar, I shouldn't talk about the map in out here, should I?
No, I'd wait till we're indoors, safe, and in secret.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's an axe throwing party, I am in.
Oster kind of just leans his body kind of slightly away and kind of directs his head towards you. I have a secret treasure map.
Oh. Cool.
And at that moment, Deceit, you have... Give me a persuasion check.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That is... Ooh, that's really good. That's 21.
You have bargained your way into a free handbag. Deceit, part-time influencer / advertising mogul.
Promo.
There's
Deceit
a
is...
small... Yeah.
Deceit is like grabbing the handbag, and he's got kind of like a gaggle of like theater like performers and stuff around them, and they just say, and then I says to him, that's not a gelatinous cube, that's my wife. And then she's just like takes the handbag and is like, oh, thank you, darling. You can come see one of my shows at a great discount of 1 silver. Excellent.
And as you step away, handbag draped over your shoulder, the two little gnomes look at each other going, wait a second, she didn't even take our business cards.
I'll send my associates. Ooh. And I'm gone. I'm
Well,
like
at least...
chatting and joking with my little gaggle of girlies. So
there's an entourage of people kind of all stepped up around you. And as you kind of flit into the central marketplace, there's bad energy here.
Oh, meet me back at the theater for rehearsals. I'm gonna go this way. I mean, air kiss.
Okay,
We all.
it's like, and they all kind of air kiss each other. I mean, they're all off, but it's the polite thing to do. And they scurry away. And they're all like, it's all like little finger waves and stuff like that. And again, they flit past back the gnome leather workers, and the gnomes are trying to hand them business cards, but no one's taking any. You've sort of sauntered or sashayed into the middle of the marketplace, and there's a really tall Leonin woman blocking your light. But while this is happening, again, there's just this loud, obnoxious conversation happening between this a dwarven man and a tabaxi, and they're now sort of struggling over some goods. They're like, it's that kind of like pull and push thing happening at the same time.
Can I hear what they're saying at all?
If you want to get a little bit closer, because again, there is quite a din, and people are beginning to hush. But if you want to kind of slink up a little bit closer.
It's a bit of drama. I want to slink a little closer. Yeah.
Do it.
The Tabaxi is saying that he's being fleeced, that the goods aren't, and it looks to be like a leather pack. It's not a bag. This is definitely more like explorer or adventuring. Not that you'd be caught dead in one of those. But they're arguing over the quality, and the dwarf is kind of shouting back at him that he only sells the finest of goods. And they're just wrestling over this. And people in the nearby stalls are also sort of have all turned to watch to see what's happening. And just as you are kind of peering and sort of eking an eye out over it, you as you kind of like lean an ear in, you just hear secret treasure map whispered.
Ooh. Deceit starts kind of monologuing to themselves a little bit. They're just like, secret treasure map. That sounds like theatrics, heroics. Ooh. Argument, treasure map. Oh, we'll go treasure map. And they start to scurry their way over.
Although I think maybe Talia makes it easy for you because seeing they're starting to scuffle, she's gonna be like, one moment, small man, Ganassi person. Sorry, she's not very used to being in a cosmopolitan area. She's used to everyone being lean, and so she's like, just one moment, and she like goes and starts to like just basically stands next to the dwarf and the tabaxi and is like, you shouldn't fight.
Are you trying to persuade or intimidate?
Probably intimidate. Okay. Actually, she just stands like, you shouldn't be doing that.
This is all kind of happening simultaneously, Deceit, as you just sort of...
I think that would have caught my eye, and I'm kind of like between the both of them kind of now. I'm like...
And at this moment, Calda, you've sort of drifted into the miller's yard. What has brought you here, and what do you look like?
Calda, young Calda, would be very slim, kind of a bit imposing looking. She's got these kind of swathes of copper hair flowing down her back, black eyes, very dark eyes, and sometimes you think you can kind of see a little light of a fire within. She still has her weird, strange tattoos, but not as many back then. She's a golden chain trailing down her chest with this long kind of grey crystal. And when you look inside of it, it's this swirling mist inside. And she's just kind of draped in like these bits of black chiffon that just kind of barely cover her a little bit. Like there's nothing bold showing, but she can get away with it. And she's got her copper belt still around her waist. And she'd be going in here because she was looking for kind of anything that's a bit occulty, like animal skulls. She's into that kind of stuff. Is there anything like that in here?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. That is a 13.
You pass like a couple of like herbalists and a few kind of leather crafters and stuff like that. There's the odd like kind of bejeweled or shiny little box. There's a fortune teller. Nothing really kind of catching your eye until you drift a little closer to the center, around kind of a small little wall of notice boards. And again, your ear pricks up when you hear this this argument rather, followed by a Leonin sort of tamefully barking a request to stop fighting. And your ear is the first thing that catches, but then your eye lands on some of the goods on the table, and you get a weird vibe. Like there's a weird energy emanating from this. It's just something sort of like, again, it's like a crackle of energy that's sort of like, you don't see anything, nothing catches your eye from an occult point of view. You don't see like little skulls or anything, but there's something there.
Beeline for the weird energy.
Okay. As you beeline for the weird energy, Oster kind of sees Deceit, his new other best friend, Thalia. He turns Osfire to face you, Calda. I think that's one of the ones you said not to talk about in front of. And at that moment, Thalia, as you see it all kind of unfurs in slow motion. The tabaxi lets go of the leather bag, and the dwarven man stumbles backwards. The table is flipped up, and immediately the tabaxi pounce on top of him, and fists start to get thrown. Talia, give me a dex save.
Oh.
And Deceit, you were kind of there, and Calda, you can give me... Calda, Deceit, and Thalia, you can give me...
I was pretty close.
Dex saves.
Osfar has put himself in front of Ostir, just to kind of just stand in front of like
Oh,
he
that's
barely comes
sweet.
up to his knee. It's what he does, but barely up to his knee. But he just stands in front of him and he's just like, and just is watching this unfold.
I got an 18.
Okay, 18,
12.
12.
I got a natural one.
Oh!
First that one. Oh no.
So do.
Deceit
No, I don't
and
wanna say
Osfire, and Oster sees it as well. When the dwarf goes down and the Tabaxi kind of leaps on top of him to kind of throw a punch, a few others, just that were kind of bystanding, also swarm in, and a full scuffle breaks out. Thalia, one of them ends up on your back. A small,
I said don't fight.
small sprightly kobold, just kind of, again, you know, to prove his muster, you take on the biggest person in the room. And Robert E. Grimes was out to prove himself that day, and he launched himself straight at you, muzzle first with a headbutt. You take 1 damage.
Oh.
But he's now trying to wrap his arms around you just to try and like knock you down. It's not. Calda, a couple of them brush past you. What is your passive perception?
It is 11.
Okay. Immediately as one of the men just kind of brushes past you, you feel his hand kind of just glide for a second, and
It's always the men, dirty bastards.
Dumb.
he grabs. Yeah, fuck man. He actually grabs at a small stash of coins you had in your pocket, and then he swings a punch at somebody else in the crowd as the miller's yard and the marketplace becomes this wide, wild brawl. Everybody give me an initiative roll.
Oof.
Oh, baby.
Oh. Ooh. That's not bad.
Ooh,
That is
it's not great
bad
for
at
me.
all.
I got a 10.
Okay,
Dirty 20.
Oh, look at you.
20.
I can't make cocktails for shit, but I can deck save.
Again,
I can swindle for a bag.
Russian.
I can beat
What
people
color
up.
is your bag? Deceit.
Oh, it's like pastel pink to match like the pastel blue outfit that they have going on.
Oh, hot.
Just like these,
I
just
got
like these
14.
dice from Dakota Irish.
Oh, very cute.
Ooh.
Osfire.
7.
Okay, and deceit.
The girls are fighting. Yes. Oh, 20, 30, 20.
And sorry, yeah, Calda.
Oh, 10.
And 7, and I got 8. As the marketplace just descends on this huge brawl, Deceit, what are you doing?
Oh, it's me. Okay, so how like is there like a lot of people bunched up together?
There is.
Like
It's a full-on
how many?
dog pile. Like,
Oh Jesus!
yeah.
Is there people that are looking aggressive towards me or?
You're not sure if it's aggressive or flirtatious.
Oh.
But you always get those
I don't
two
like
kind of
either.
slightly mixed up. Yeah.
Aggressively
Love war.
flirty. Aggressively flirty.
Okay, so if I can see like a group of say like the Tabaxi and the dwarf, the original two that kicked off this like whole situation, I can see them. On them and a little group of people around them, I'd like to cast sleep.
Okay.
Oh.
And so I just say, I don't have time for this nonsense. I just wanted my bag. And I rolled 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 22 points.
Okay. So you're kind of casting this out into that sort of that dog pile. You're trying to hit the Tabaxi and the dwarf first and foremost.
Yes.
Okay. As the as you kind of just proclaim this audaciously in the marketplace, yeah, your face says glib, but your tone has sort of a lullaby rhythm to it as the spell takes hold, and you just see the Tabaxi kind of yawn And immediately the dwarf's fist just goes right into his mouth where he went to punch him. And then the dwarf kind of half yawns, and it wasn't a full slap of a punch. And then several of the other people that are dogpiled into this, including a guard, have also kind of all, like, it's all just kind of like, they're all looking a bit weary. Any bonus action?
Yeah, I would just like to look around, and the Leonin girl that got accosted, I would just like to say, get him, big girl, and give you inspiration, bardic inspiration.
Yeah. Okay, you take your bardic inspiration. That is.
What is it?
I'd like to like it's a
D6?
D6, and I'd like to move away from anybody.
Okay.
Like, try not to be in melee with
Okay, so
anybody.
you just
I
take
guess.
like a kind of a sort of gliding step back. Okay.
Mhm.
Thalia.
Thalia is feeling a bit upset because she said specifically you shouldn't fight, and now they're fighting, and someone's just
Oh.
headbutted her. So she's feeling a little teensy bit angry, and she's just gonna be like, "I said don't fight," and is gonna go into a rage
You.
as my bonus action first.
What does Thalia look like when she rages?
So Leonins have a thing called Daunting Roar, where they can just like roar at people. But I think this is not using that, but she basically like throws her head back and like roars, and like her hair like just gets even more like wild, and she's like "Rah,"
Love
and
it.
sort of like shrugs
Slay.
off her cloak and like throws it to the ground, and yeah,
Love it.
Whoa.
all of her muscles are all pumped
Like a
up.
wrestler
Yeah, exactly.
entering the ring.
Yeah,
and-
she's suddenly oily. No, that would be a bit weird.
Greasy,
She was
greasy
also hair.
teen.
Oh, she's hairy and oily. Oh no.
Okay, I'm here for Thalia. You can have inspiration.
Oh, she's all matted.
Those Greek wrestlers, I'm in for it.
I think I should not be allowed to play anything to do with creatures because this always happens. I start leaning into them too much and then it gets weird immediately.
Weird.
Oh, no, we're here.
Anyway,
weird or
so yeah, she's
amazing?
like, "Rah!" She's like, "Rah!" And yeah, her mane glistening but also slightly greasy. So that does cool stuff, but I will just kind of. What would make sense is for me to use my great axe. However, I kind of want to just like suplex this kobold
Yes.
off my back,
Okay.
which I guess would be an armed strike. But I do have claws, so what I shall say is I shall dig my claws into them.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Hit him with the chair.
So let's see if I do that. Oh no! Well, it's a natural 2,
Okay.
which is with plus. Oh, but I do have
Advantage.
quite a lot. No, but I have +2 on melee damage. Sorry, maths to 9.
Okay. Meets it, beats it. So
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
These are just regular
so
people,
that's-
right?
Oh,
Oh no.
oh god! Oh no! That is
Don't
gonna kill
fight,
someone.
suplex.
Destroy them all.
That is a total of 6.
Okay.
6 damage with those claws.
You.
I
Yeah.
think.
You just lean. Your hands
Yeah.
go over. You grab him, and immediately it's like whoop over and straight back down on top of him. There's a crunch as he goes down, and there's kind of
The claws go.
And stays down.
he's down. He's not moving.
Oh.
The claws just retract. Whoops.
Walk away.
Does that thing that cats do after knocking something off the table? It wasn't me. What are you talking about?
Just walks away.
Okay, get up. Like, yeah, use my movement to be like, back up, back up.
Calda.
Yeah.
So I felt that guy pocket my coins.
Yes,
Did
yeah,
I?
and you saw him dive into the dog pile in the skirmish.
Am I still standing? I didn't get
No,
knocked
no,
over.
no.
How far away is this
He's,
person
he's
from
about
me?
10 feet. He's a sort of a sallow-looking wood elf, reddish brown hair, and a sort of a nose ring.
Asshole who has a nose ring. She finds her she finds her hand going up to grasp her crystal, and she doesn't turn her body, she just turns her head and stares at him with her eyes widened, and she's going to cast Mind Sliver at this prick.
Jesus.
So he has to make an intelligence saving
Oh,
throw.
great. Can't wait to do that as a commoner.
Don't touch my stuff.
So we're just killing them. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. That's a 15.
I mean, he did.
I didn't
See
mean
the headline
to.
tomorrow
Stay.
is Neverwinter Gazette.
Mm.
Massacre at the Miller Yard.
Okay, now I'm pissed.
Any bonus
We're-
actions?
we're-
She is going to use her meta magic.
Okay.
Now I'm really angry. And she's going to use Quicken Spell, and she's going to cast Chaos Bolt.
Fucking hell.
Don't touch my stuff. Right, hold on. I hope I don't kill this person.
I hope I don't kill this person.
17
Yeah,
to
that's
hit.
going to hit.
I feel like we're going to be sent to
Jail.
like Phandelver as like a this
Running
is
away.
community service.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't get to, it doesn't
Okay.
twin, it doesn't jump, so we're okay. So he has 8 and 1d6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. And I pick
Where his body is buried.
poison. I
Okay.
pick poison damage.
You seeing him, and you can practically see the silver and gold pieces that he just pocketed from you. You watch as he kind of worms his way into the scuffle, and like an anger kind of boils up in you, and you think awful, mean, terrible things, and the magic cuts, but it doesn't connect with anything. It's just buried a little in too much hate. And just swallowing that down with a very hard lump in your throat, you fix a very toxic stare on him, Calda. And as you do, the magic just kind of wafts back and forth from you, and it begins to crackle. And just tracing the tip of a fingernail along the edge of it, almost like just kind of slicing through it, the magic just ripples out very, very quickly. And it cracks straight into him. And you see him, he kind of winces for a moment, and then he starts to sweat, and he starts to shiver, and he throws up a little in his mouth, and he lets it out, and he starts rolling in agony as he is walloped with this wave of nausea and poison that courses through him, and he rolls out of the crowd, half foaming at the mouth, your coins still gripped in his hand, and they just tumble free onto the ground. He was only 10
How
feet
far
away
away
from
is
you.
he?
He's now like 7 feet away from you.
She'll walk slowly up to him, just covering her mouth with her hand.
He's on the ground, yeah. He's on
Is
the
he
ground.
on the ground right now, sweating? She'll crouch down beside him and just like run her finger up his sweating neck and chin and pull his chin up and say, "Don't steal from me again."
I mean, he's
And
not
she'll
even
pick up her
remotely
coins and
conscious,
talk
but okay.
She made her point.
Yes, you might never see again.
Is there anything else
if you
on
want to
him?
sleight of hand him, you'll have to do it on your next turn. Oster kind of looking around and like seeing Thalia kind of get sidelined. He rolls his shoulders, Osfire, and you see him. He's kind of this young fella seems to be edging for a fight. He whips off the shirt, and there's a small vest underneath it, and he's kind of bouncing back on his feet, and he kind of just looks down at you, and he's like, okay, yeah, and he just leaps into the dog pile and starts swinging, and he's gonna make an attack roll.
Oh boy.
Go on. You got this. Oh no.
A nat wand.
I'm so embarrassed for him. I'm so embarrassed.
I mean, it's on point, really. Kind
It
of, if
makes
you think
so
about
much
it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Don't work for
He
me.
leaps in and just grabs the first person and just sort of hunting them up. And Osfire, you see it plain as day. He's pulled a guard out of the pile. He plants on his hands and just full on side kicks the guy right into the belly and sends a city guard stumbling over himself backwards. And he
We're
looks
about to
back
be
at
put
you
on
with
some
just
community
okay.
service.
So you gotta join now. And then someone just punches him straight into the head. And he takes 1 damage. Okay.
Okay.
It's your action.
Love it.
It's me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Osfire is just like, watching all this like violence happen around him, and it's just like crunch. He's like, ooh, and first thing he's going to do is bonus action cast Shield of Fate on Oster to give him a bit of extra AC.
From the city guards.
From the city guards. So that's my bonus action. So Shield of Fate on him, and then I'm gonna use I'm gonna use a I'm gonna use a sorcery point and twin a spell of Cure Wounds on the one that Talia had chaos bolted, and then also the one that got suplexed, and just kind of bring them back to at least kind of like alive. And I'd be like, just to keep it's like, y'all got problems, you really do. And I just start just healing a few people here and there just to make sure nobody is dead.
Okay.
But like they're unconscious, like as in like they've taken their beating, but your man is no longer puking up his insides, and the kobold's back is no longer broken. So, but like
He's not dead.
yeah. So as it's like just like, oh, I thought I left this in the Dale, and he just does that and just shaking his head and just looking around. Is there anyone coming at me?
No, because you've kind of everyone is just throwing themselves into that. It's like a tavern brawl, but in the market. Like punches are getting thrown, kicks are getting thrown, people are getting bitten, and just as you see kind of life return, or at least cling on to the kobold, you see him kind of like a leg twitch in the way that he's fine. His
back just go.
Yeah, he straightens himself
He
out.
unfolds.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank goodness.
I didn't know kobolds could do that.
Yeah.
You see, you see Osfire clearly because everyone else is sort of, and Deceit, you can kind of make it out too. A platoon of guards are coming down the road. A whistle is blown, but not a guard's whistle. It was just someone has blown a sharp, short whistle into the air, and immediately Osfire and Deceit, out of the scuffle, you see several folks in dark navy cloaks just dart and dive out of the way, and the guards move in, and people are like, the dog pile is completely and totally broken up.
Are they? Can we still see them? The people in the dark cloaks.
Give me a perception check.
Ooh. That is 6. 6.
It was look, navy cloak. Oh look, handsome guards. As this all kind of as the brawl is broken up, the dwarven man is pulled to his feet and he kind of stares at the five of you. He's quite a formidable looking chap, probably in his late 40s or 50s. Long brown chocolate beard that sort of melts into his hair that's slightly receding backwards. He has a golden clasp tying the middle ring or braid of his beard together. And these deep blue-green eyes kind of looking up at the five of you. They stole my fucking letter. And he's kind of patting himself down. Oh, I've been robbed. And he's looking at his smashed stall.
Wait. Deceit just kind of like saunters in. It's like, this was over a letter, not your crappy bags. No offense.
My bags aren't crappy.
They're a little dated.
I've been robbed.
More crimes, no! That is still raging.
Killing people.
A guard kind of steps in between the group. What's this about a robbery? And he's kind of looking at.
I was robbed.
Oh, guards, please, there was a
I got it
robbery.
back, and she holds her coin. I got it back by myself, not with your help.
Okay. Kudos on solving your own crime. Are you? And he kind of looks at you to see. Are you unwell?
Oh, there's just been a heinous robbery. There was people in dark cloaks, and they scattered, and they grab the dwarf, and like, this poor merchant has been victim to a crime. Won't you help them?
You're quite dramatic down here in the south, aren't you? It's kind of, yeah. And I take out my militia badge and I just flash it real quick at the guards, and it's like, Osfat Talbard, Northern Militia. I saw a lot of what happened, and it seemed to be a conjoined movement between a tabaxi and then a couple of others that I saw. And I point over at the one that was chaos bolted. You might want to question that fellow right there. He seemed to be part of the group involved.
A very winded guard, kind of still bent over on himself, kind of comes up. Yes, sir, I saw the whole thing. I'm very sorry. I think I took a kick to the guts. It was the scramblers, sir. It's the usual smashing. I'm gonna be sick. And he kind of half waddles, still kind of bent over, clutching his belly. And the guard kind of looks at you, Osfire. I tell you what, we've been dealing with, they've been dealing with this gang for a short while. How does 5 gold pieces sound? If you can find the merchant's letter, perhaps, a reward, maybe you could see to the gang being dealt with. We've and he kind of looks around, things to be dealing with, and his eyes land on the unconscious wood elf with a cloud of foam around his mouth.
I'll be happy to take the job. Still, boy, well, we got ourselves a contract here.
Oster looks up, and you see his nose is broken. Great! We got a job! And he's just smiling, and like his eye is swelling.
And
Is it really like jacked up your nose? Like, is it?
Oh
is
yeah,
it
it's like
really
it's full on. Like
bony
you
and
can
horrible?
see where the bone is. Like.
Okay, well, Calda is going to it looks like she's just gliding. She will just glide like right up, like uncomfortably close to your face, and just like she's not going to touch you, but she'll put like a hand really close to your broken nose, and she's just staring at it and smiling. She's not.
Oster.
Deceit is gonna like slide over towards, like just away from you.
The bone.
Oster just kind of again. He meets your eye the entire time, Calda, and he smiles right back. It's like, hi, I'm Oster Curie. Did you see my ad as well?
Bone is breaking.
Oh yeah.
Can I? I'll.
You can fix it.
I'll get it.
Okay. And he lifts his head and he tilts it back a little bit.
She'll like run her finger down the protruding bone, then try and
Okay, give me a
pop it
medicine
back
check.
in.
I mean, are you actually trying to pop it back in?
Well, like she's just playing with it. She wants to see what happens.
Jesus. Could you not disfigure me on the first session in the prologue?
12.
I'm gonna say a 12 is great. I'd like to keep my Shrone. Yeah, you pop it back, but not in any sort of sensitive way, and it like Oster immediately kind of winces, like, oh yeah, oh you smell like my grandma's house.
Tried it the other way.
Okay. Do you want me to? And he kind of holds his hand over it a little bit. And in the middle of all this, the dwarf who Deceit had kind of slid into the middle of the guards just kind of like throws his arms up. I said I wasn't coming back to Neverwinter. This always happens in Neverwinter. The captain just offered 5 gold pieces. I'll double. I'll give you another 5. I need that letter. It's very important. I get that back.
Well, all I see is money being offered and some capable people around me, so I could always do with a bit of coin.
How about you pay that 5 gold up front, and we'll collect the remaining 5 gold from the guards after we've retrieved your letter.
Give me a persuasion check, Osfire.
That would be 22.
Ooh.
He he squints one eye closes and the other one squints hard at you. You've dealt with traders, you've dealt with merchants before, and he's just kind of eyeing you up. He's trying to get a sense of the man in front of him. Deal. Okay. And he kind of searches around. They took, and he moves back towards a cart, and he kind of half hovers up into it, and he comes back a moment later with a small kind of bag, and he takes out 5 gold pieces, and he just drops them into your hands, Osfire.
I kind of weigh it up. Thank you kindly.
Wait, total
So-
or each?
Oh, Alfar kind of opens up the pouch and hands everyone 1 gold piece, including Oscar.
Well, I
More
assume
than I have.
we're in this trying to find this letter now. Did anybody see where they went? The tabaxi, maybe?
The guards are kind of looking around, and then the guy who was kind of hawking his guts up, kind of gingerly points down an alleyway. Just before I went tumbling and they went running, I saw them. 2 of them went that way.
Ooh, clandestine.
Insight check.
Yep. Give me.
Yeah.
11.
Again, you don't trust him, but you don't get the sense that he's lying either.
Okay.
But as you're looking around, we cut back to the tavern where Oster is kind of beaming at all of you, and he's talking about it. And I'm not showing off, and he flips a page on the diary, and you see that he has a gold coin sort of taped to the inside of it.
Oh, you
And
would sap.
he kind of blushes, and as the 5 of us move down the alleyway pointed out by the guards, we will take our break there. So we will be back in 10 minutes time. There's some questions about inspiration and stuff that I will answer when we come back. Oh, you have answered them?
Oh,
Okay.
I've answered them.
Well,
I've
I believe
answered
I'm the DM right now.
I've
I'm
answered
the DM
them.
right now, so I will answer those as I come back. So take a break, get a drink, hydrate, go for a stretch, and we will see you in 10 minutes.
You.
We're good.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, here's hoping to see on levels for everybody.
Everybody's level 20. Remember when we were gods? Remember when we just met and then became gods?
Oh, Dahi, you just wait, baby. You just wait and see. Oh, Declan, sorry. They can't hear you.
Dumb.
Yeah,
and-
you should have heard him, folks. He was just farting constantly on the break. It was just disgusting.
Oh,
It's
disgraceful.
just horrible. All
So,
yeah,
It was
it
very
was.
embarrassing, actually, wasn't it,
oh
Wayne?
boy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Noted. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry.
There goes my inspiration.
I was just saying,
Redacted.
very, very politely,
Redacted.
you just missed it as Osfire and Calda spontaneously just exploded, and they're out of the game.
We're back to roll new character.
They're out. So as I was saying, welcome back to the second half of Random DMs, where we are running Lost Mines of Phandelver. I am this session's Dungeon Master, and I am joined by 4 lovely players who, in 2 weeks' time, one of them will find themselves in my seat, continuing the story. When we last left, off just before the break, we watched as Calda, Deceit, Osfire, and Thalia, 4 best friends to Oster Cure, a local city boy of Neverwinter, searching for a sense of adventure, have found themselves on a quest to retrieve a stolen letter for a dwarven merchant. 5 gold as a deposit, or as a security, afforded to them by the dwarf, and another 5 promised by the city guard on return of the letter, and some damage dealt to a local gang known only as the Scramblers, pointed in the direction of an alleyway. The 5 of you make your way down, only to find it's a dead end, with the exception of a manhole that is slightly ajar and with perfumous odors erupting and wafting out of it. Deceit with the utmost disdain. You are, dousing yourself in the finest of perfumes that just seem to mingle and then drown in the smell. But you've convinced yourself otherwise. Everybody else, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm enjoying it. Do I have to do a save?
Yes.
Wait, I don't have to save because I'm perfuming myself.
They're actually doing Constitution checks because of your perfume, Deceit.
Yeah, we were handling it before.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like when I walked in when we were all older, like it was just this stink of perfume.
21.
19 for Misha.
Okay.
15.
Right, okay, well, it seems that it's quite hard to distinguish the smell of Deceit's perfume and the odors coming from the sewer. You're not quite sure which one is which and which one smells worse. But as the... Actually, and do you know what? I will roll for Oster's.
Folks in
Roster-
Neverwinter are really weird.
That's
Oh, no.
a 6 plus
Oh,
2,
no.
8. Oster gets a little bit woozy from the perfume, but kind of leans in a little bit, Deceit, and you smell like flowers.
Yes, that is what Deceit says. That's what he does. He just shouts. Meanwhile, I'm going to close my window because people have decided to start shrieking in the quietest street
I
in
love the
the
ambiance.
city.
It's immersive. It's
Yeah,
immersive.
thank you. That's actually
The name
Neverwinter.
Neverwinter.
It's Neverwinter.
That's
Yeah.
the Neverwinter soundtrack that I'm playing in the
Oh,
background.
love
Actually,
it. Love it. Okay.
Deceit just says, "Yeah, yes, it's my perfume. Would you like to?" And they take like a dab and they like waft it towards you.
Yeah, Oster kind of like, sort of like kind of steps into it, and like chest up, and then kind of swings a leg down into the manhole and just kind of disappears down.
Oh, do we have to go down there? Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't think that would work.
As you meander through the sewers, in the distance you can hear faint echoes of footsteps and murmured conversations that seem to stop every now and again, almost as if whoever it is checking, is looking. But they don't get a sense of of them being followed. Eventually, the sewerage starts to kind of. At first, you were kind of like you were standing in it. Now it was above the knee, and now you're kind of wading through it. But it's not quite. It's not quite
Oh no.
normal.
So when you say up to the knee,
Oh.
Was it Ozfire? Was it? Would you like a lift?
I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you kindly.
I kneel down.
I kind of
on my
take
shoulders.
off to get rid of the shit. I take the furs off because they're just matted now at this point, and it's chainmail armor underneath, and like regular kind of like just hiking pants tucked into my boots.
That'll hose down. It'll be all right.
Yeah. The last time I had this problem, I was wading through Yeti shit, so this is something similar. And I just toss the furs to one side and just leave them in the sewer, and then climb up.
Have you on my clothes?
I'm going to need a whole new outfit. Ooh. Ooh. They're waiting.
Oster is just doing that sort of like he's just powering through it, like he's just like pushing his whole body into it. It's not like it is that like, oh god, we're wading through sewage. It's not sewage anymore. This is sludge and slime. It is bog and decay. It's sort of the remnants of an old sewerage network that seems to have collapsed after the huge disaster in Neverwinter and the chasm and what followed. There was so much rack and ruin and destruction. Some tunnels collapsed. Part of the river was completely and totally swallowed. You seem to be wading through stagnant muck more than anything else. And for any of you that have been, are any of your characters familiar with the city of Neverwinter?
Neverwinter.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of start to get a sense of where you might be heading. You're definitely moving further south, but you're heading more easterly now. It's more sharp east than it is south. You're heading in the direction of the old abandoned graveyards.
Oh, this is going somewhere very creepy.
Where?
Like, so this is probably in the direction of the graveyards here, and
I'll go ahead. And Calda will just push past the seat and keep going in that direction.
Now, I don't know if it's just me, but is Fiona's mic low for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
a little bit. You're a wee bit low.
No, it's fine
You
again
did it
now.
on purpose, Declan.
Whatever you were doing was the issue.
Oh, Baned.
Bane.
It was the Bane.
It was the Bane.
Faint. Faint.
Eventually, having waded and scrambled through muck and just rot, you come to a a dead end.
Oh,
Oh,
We just got
welcome
raided.
along, Ampersand D20. Thanks so much for the raid.
hi.
You are catching the
Hey.
party in the middle of some sewerage. They're having a lovely time, and life is great. Everyone should go into the sewers.
Is there any, like, you said there's a dead end? Like, is there anything ahead of us? Like, anything on the walls? Anything?
It is a brick wall crumbling and twisted and held together with vines.
Well, this is bizarre. I thought this had. Is there no sewerage under the graveyard?
Oster kind of looks at you and
You the dead use the bathroom
I mean,
that often.
I don't know how graveyards work. I spend all my time up there. Like,
Do you think it should go further than this? Asked Sally.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Sally kicks at the vines.
If I'm up on Talia's shoulders, I'm gonna just kind
Yeah,
of
like, look
hunker
through the vines. Look
up
through
a
the
bit
vines.
and kind of just look up at the vines and see if they go anywhere.
you. Tell you what, give me a perception check because you were a little higher as well. Give me a perception check with advantage, Osfire.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Double Dakota Irish
Here
dice.
we go, baby.
That'll do. That will be 21.
Oh,
Very nice.
yeah. They're like here. Like the vines are. They look fake. The vines look like they were made. They look like rope that have like leaves kind of stuck on them and stuff like that. There's actually what looks like a trap door. As your eyes kind of cut through and you're kind of looking around. Yeah.
Y'all, I think I found an exit or an entrance depending on your point of view. Is it up the top? Is it like up the top of the vines?
You could, if as you are now, where you are on sort of Talia's shoulders, you could lift up and push up. I love how if anybody comes in, it doesn't kind of raise the roof.
I'm like vaguely scrabbling at the wall a little bit. Like,
It wasn't one of our stage.
Just try not to
It wasn't one of our
scramble too
stage
much.
hands that
I
made
am
it.
on your
Oh, sorry,
shoulders,
sorry.
so I kind of I'm going to try and give this a kind of a small push here, and I just start to just slowly push it, just to kind of peek in. I'm not going full like whoop. I'm going like just to have a kind of look, just a crack.
A kind of a weird sort of heavy air kind of rushes in as you lift it up, and it does. There's a good weight to the door, and you just see kind of smashed stone tiles, just kind of like as your eyes kind of glance over it, and there's a doorway, and it just shuts as you lift up. It's that sort of the timing down this long narrow corridor. You see just a heavy wooden door close.
Okay, and Tally, give me a quick boost. And like I just push it right open, and as I push it, I kind of jump up at the same time to land up into the room.
Okay, Black Widow style.
Yeah.
Okay, no one sees it.
it felt like
I have
that
a
was
feeling
good.
like
And
that
he
was very
described it years
skilled.
afterwards.
I have
And
a-
none of us.
I have a
believed
feeling like that was very skilled.
I could talk to you as well.
As you kind of plop up, you do see you're in. It's quite. It looks to be like a tomb, Osfire, like a long sort of old. It's like it's in decay, and you've heard of what's happened in Neverwinter. You heard of the disaster and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're not quite sure if this is time or if it was or if it was kind of man-made, but the tomb has not been kept up.
Y'all better come up here. This place is a bit of a mess.
Could I get a little bit of a boost? And I turned to
I give
Thalia.
everyone little boosties.
And I reach
paws
down
are already
and
mucky.
help. Kind of sounds like a.
Nice.
Okay, is Talia? Are you kind of boosting everybody up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oster kind of watches as kind of Deceit goes up, followed by Calda. Okay. and then kind of Oster kind of looks at you as you're holding your hands out, and he, yeah, sure, and he just reaches his arms around you and he just kind of gives you a hug.
No. Did you not watch what everyone else was doing?
Oh, but I just wanted to kind of say thanks first.
Say thanks after we've finished. I'm covered in muck.
Oh yeah, but so am I. So like I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is everyone in Neverwinter total nerds? Or is that just you?
You know, nerds are smart, so thank you.
I mean, no, it's not a bad thing. I mean, Deceit's obviously some sort of other nerd. But, I'm just wondering, is it something about
Deceit
the
is just
city? I've
like,
not been here for very long.
Oh,
I couldn't even cure that burn.
Burn?
This is-
Oh, I'm
She's
sorry.
just like-
Sometimes I say things without thinking about them. Anyway, stand on my hands.
No, I think I got this, and he's gonna try and make a scramble up himself. I'm so sorry. Okay, that's a 13 plus acrobatics.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay. That's
Glad.
an 18. He
Ooh.
kind of just taking a step back a little from you, Thalia. He kind of just and it's not you're not getting a sense of he's trying to show off or anything like that, but
Yeah.
he just kind of reaches up for a little bit, and he does kind of like put his weight onto one of your hands just to kind of like prop himself, and he kind of grabs it, twists himself upwards, and he kind of pulls up, and just with both hands kind of twists up and up or onto the ledge, and kind of slides out on his belly, and just kind of finds himself standing kind of amongst kind of Calda, Deceit, and Osfire kind of looking, and then he just on his belly slips around and just reaches a hand down to help pull you up.
Thank you.
She,
But yeah, to be clear, Thalia doesn't realize she's done like an accidental burn on like 2 out of the 5 minutes. She's just like, cool, great, thank you.
Deceit's impressed, to be honest, if anything.
That's not her pause.
As you kind of spill out onto as we all kind of spill out onto the hallway, there is noise coming from a doorway at the end of this corridor. It's about maybe 25 feet down. There is just this heavy wooden door. Glancing around, you can see that again, as I described earlier, this tomb, this passageway, not been well maintained. It's kind of crumbling, dilapidated. And now that your eyes have kind of begin to adjust to the kind of the orange glow, at first person who says dark vision is getting baned, of the torches in the sconces, you can see kind of shadows flickering along the walls. And there's a statue that seems to have been smashed up. It looks. It's not just worn away by time. It looks like it's been smashed.
And is this a crypt? Is there?
You don't see it.
Tombs
You're
and
kind of
coffins
standing in
and
a passageway,
Okay.
and
just
there's a
this
door
open statue.
down the hallway to kind of as you're kind of looking at it, and to your right you do see another corridor leading downwards and a set of stairs going up.
We don't see any people, do we?
No.
Can we tell if the statue has been broken recently, or has it been in disrepair for a while?
It looks to be in disrepair for a while.
Okay. I kind of tell everyone, like, yo, I saw somebody go through that door down there.
Well, it's probably not trapped then, if they can just run around here willy-nilly.
Are you volunteering?
I'll have a look. And Deceit is just gonna slowly prance down the hallway, quietly prance.
Give me a stealth check.
Sure. Ew, that's a 15.
Oh.
I think.
Yeah, you slink and dance and glide and twirl your way. You all watch as Deceit does an interpretive dance along the wall, without making a sound.
It's like Kronk from the Emperor's New Groove. It's like that. Without the sound.
You've made your way to the door.
I check it to see if it's locked.
You press against the door a little bit, kind of throwing your weight into it. The door budges. You haven't opened it, but the door budges.
Can I, like, listen in?
There's laughter.
Oh, it sounds like a party. Come.
And Oster's kind of eyes light up.
Oh, God, no. I used the P word. No, sorry, that was out of character. It sounds like fun. I think it sounds like a celebration.
Can I ask, is it customary in Neverwinter to have a lot of parties in graveyards?
I mean, only if you're kind of cool, I guess.
Do you need to be invited to the party to go?
No.
Well, no, I asked once and I was told no.
You're not really invited. You just, like, go and people, like, you're just there and,
Well, how about you go on ahead and see if, we all get an invite. We'll just follow you.
Okay, just follow me. And I'm just going to, like, open the door.
Okay, I will...
Oh, no.
Bear with me.
I told you I'm not smart. This is where Deceit dies and you were talking to their ghost the whole time.
It's a party.
It's a party.
And
At least we're in the graveyard already, so we just.
what was your stealth check?
15.
Oh, okay. No, you're fine. You kind of nudge the door open gingerly. You've snuck into plenty of parties. You nudge the door open slightly, and you sort of slip through, kind of leaving it open a little bit. There's a small gaggle of these navy cloaked individuals, hoods pulled back, and it's a smattering. There's a tiefling, a wood elf, a halfling, and out in front of them they just have their backs turned to you. They have a table covered in swag. There's coin purses, there's goods, they seem to be counting their haul.
Do they have anything pretty?
Give me a perception check.
Like anything that's like in. That's a
Are maps in?
Anything
30.
that's in.
13.
I mean, the gold and stuff is pretty, but there is... there's a rather kind of like fetching looking little scales. Like maybe it's like what a merchant might use for like, weighing out the cost of goods and stuff. It's pretty, it's ornate. You're not really sure what you'd use it for, but you kind of want it.
How many of them are in the room?
These three, there's 3.
So they have some nice things. Come. And I'm telling everyone else to come in. And I'm going to cast sleep on them.
Okay. Is everybody else following through?
Yeah.
Alda's going to wait at the rear.
That is 10. Oh, Jesus, this sucks. 10, 15, 19.
So the halfling kind of taking a swig out of a dirty wooden mug, kind of leans back a little bit, and then kind of scoots onto the floor and takes another swig from his mug, and he just kind of lies down as he falls asleep. And the other two are kind of looking at him, and it's Illy, and the tiefling kind of gives him kind of a nudge with his boot. And then as they turn, they see you and the others kind of spilling down the hall. The tiefling kind of waves back at you. Do I know you?
No. I get this all the time. Your friend looks like they've probably had a little bit too, and I just scamper off.
Okay.
Just out
We're here
now
for
that
the
they've seen
party.
me.
As you go to move,
Yes.
the tiefling reaches down, like one hand kind of looking at you. He reaches down for a crossbow on his side, and he just shouts, "Guards!" And they charge. Roll for attack. Or roll for initiative, rather. Roll for attacks.
Oh,
I was gonna do something as I came
Sure.
in the door, if that's
Yep,
possible. I was gonna cast a spell,
Okay.
but I don't know if you'll allow it. I was gonna cast Bane on all three of them.
I'm not going to allow it.
Yay!
No?
Yeah,
Bane,
of course.
the name
Yeah.
of
That's
the-
a-
No,
yeah?
Yeah, work away.
I would have allowed it.
Yeah. Okay. So I cast
guys,
Bane.
I rolled another great initiative.
So yeah. So they have to. Sorry. 3 creatures of your choice that you can see must make a charisma saving throw.
Oh, this thing that these bandits are famous for.
Yep.
That is a 9, a flat 9.
That is a fail.
Okay.
Whenever a target that fails a saving throw makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, and it's up to 1 minute and it's concentration, they must roll a d4 and subtract that from whatever they rolled.
Nice.
Okay?
Yep.
Did all of them fail?
I did a flat roll for the bandits. It's just easier.
Nice.
So
Cool.
initiative wise, I got a 10. Calda. Okay. Deceit.
16.
21.
Okay. Osfire
12.
and Thalia.
15.
Okay. So, on your sleep spell deceit, you see that the tiefling has reached down for his crossbow and he shouted guards. And it's your action.
Okay. I'm just going to say, guards, what kind of a party do you think this is? And cast Vicious Mockery on the tiefling. What are you, a knock?
Oh, he's burned.
That is a saving throw. I think it's wisdom.
Okay, and I have disadvantage.
I know
Oh,
how my
I rolled my
spells
bane
work.
for this as well. So
Yeah.
that is,
It is
an
a-
11 on the roll, -2, 9 again.
Sorry, it's a wisdom. Yeah, sorry, wisdom. 13.
Oh,
yeah, 13
it would have
is
been
the
the
save.
same. He's
So.
no bonuses to his wisdom. So yeah, no,
Cool.
he fails.
13 is the save. Whoop. I dropped my d4 because I deal a d4 to him now. I think that is 3 damage, and he has, I think, disadvantage on something. Disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next
Okay.
turn.
You just see a single tear drop down. Like he just
Oh.
starts to cry as the magic cuts right through him, and he hears all the laughing and jeering. He was known as like the squealer of his group of friends. Like he was always the first to tackle, and you got him right where it hurts.
Emotional
And I want to. Is there any like pillars or anything
No,
in the room
the
that
room
I can
is
hide
actually
behind?
fairly bare, with the exception of the table and a few broken chairs
Okay.
and stuff. There's not much really to.
I'm gonna scoot and like open the door more and just try and kind of cover myself a little bit with it. And I'm like, one of you go get them, and I'll give. I'm gonna roll a d4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I'm gonna give Spooky Girl. You get inspiration. You get your bardic inspiration. Spooky Girl, go get him.
And with that, I think it is out of 16, Calda.
16.
Spooky girl.
Yeah, spooky girl on show. Okay, she's kind of like she likes Deceit, and she has heard his command and will obey. She'll look. I assume? Do I have line of sight of this?
Yeah.
Crying man. She's gonna just stare at him directly in the eyes and say, "Have you ever seen skin melt from bone?" And she's gonna cast Firebolt at him. 22 to hit.
Oh, Neverwinter is very intense.
Oh, there goes my D10. Oh, it's gone under the table. I'll do my black one instead. Oh,
Okay.
7.
And your bonus action? Okay.
She'll smile at Deceit and like not stop smiling.
Just kind of like.
Yeah, to see you watch as the spooky girl, the satyr, just kind of steps into the room. She says something about melting flesh from bones, looks at you with this twisted smile, holding one hand up where a searing red hot flame twists, shoots from her fingertips, and the tiefling erupts in flame. He is howling in agony, and he drops to his knees, kind of just shaking it off a little bit. He's barely hanging on.
So he just pulls out like a little notepad, is like writing that. That's a good one. What a line! Like, I should use that for my next one-man play. Ooh.
And with a 15, Thalia? Or was it Osfire? Thalia.
Yeah, it's me. I'm just thinking. Dangerous. So are they sort of all clustered together?
They are,
and also on the table, can we see anything that looks sort of letterish or
You
bookish?
can't see anything on the table that looks like a letter. There is just a pile of stuff.
Okay. Barry's going to step forward to her full height, sort of hair brushing the ceiling, and she's going to do Daunting Roar as a bonus action. Creatures of your choice, so within 10 feet that can hear you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, DC 13, or become frightened. So she's just going to roar at them, trying to sort of basically force them into the corner and be like, "Where is the map? Martha!
Martha, where's the map?
Also, depending on the room size, you were saying they call guards. Can we hear anyone like coming from anywhere else?
As you kind of let out a roar, because I rolled a nat 20 for their whiz saves. It was a whiz save. Okay.
Yeah.
You do roar, but it kind of like breaks in the middle just as you.
Meow.
Yeah. It's like.
Meow.
Meow. Yeah. Meow.
Yeah.
They all kind of look at you, and the halfling that was asleep on the ground, kind of like shakes a little and kind of looks around. Sees all the commotion, sees his friend on fire, starts to kind of panic a little bit, and then kind of locks eyes at you and then looks at the door, and he just starts to like, help, invaders, help, and he's kind of looking around as to what to do.
Whoops. So that was my bonus action, so I'm gonna hit him.
The one who's on the floor.
The halfling?
Yeah.
Okay. He's
Yep,
prone, so
with
you'll
my
have
great
advantage.
axe.
Okay, great. Jesus
Cool.
Christ.
As he should. As he should.
Well, that wasn't very good. 11.
11 hits. Oh, no, wait, sorry, no, that, no, it does not. 11 does not.
Not. Darn it. She's still embarrassed that her voice cracked halfway through, so she's like,
Oh.
and like misses and embeds her axe in the floor, and then like, whoops.
Yeah, it's more like
And that'll
you where he was a second ago, you would have hit him as the axe came down. You would have but he is just kind of like kicking back and fluttering and flustering on the ground.
Yeah.
And he's
Stay
kicked
still.
back. Stay still. I need to smash you. He's backed into the table a little bit, and some of the gold and the stolen goods kind of spill off the table. And Thalia, your eye does kind of glance at. You don't see a letter. Osfire.
Just a point. We are looking for a letter, not a map.
Yes,
yeah?
you are looking for a letter.
Yes.
Letter. Grant. Okay. Grant. So grant. Okay. So there's one on the ground, two still standing,
Yes.
and one of the two that are standing is crying
And on fire.
on fire.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to add to that. I'm going to spend a sorcery point and cast a twin spell of Sacred Flame at the two standing dudes. So without like the mace is still in its sheath and on his belt, you just as far as like reaches like, I don't usually do this, but we need to move, and I just two hands go out and Sacred Flame burns from either hand, and it's a Dex save of 12 that they need to make.
Okay, so there's a +1 to their dex.
Yeah.
That is a 14.
Oh, they save.
Half damage.
Burns.
They must succeed in it or take. Well, no, it doesn't say. So they don't take any damage.
With cantrips, it's just
Okay.
saver.
Yeah,
Bonus action?
just say it straight in.
Oh, bonus action was the meta magic, was it?
Yeah. I don't. I think that's it. So that's all I can
Did they-
do.
Did they minus the bane
Oh,
from
they
their?
did not.
Good call. Good
Oh,
call.
they did not.
Good call.
They did not.
Good call.
The joy of having all DMs. Did they do this with
Yeah.
small
literally.
detail?
Mine, but I'm the one who baned them. I should have remembered
So,
that. But anyway.
That's, it was a 14 minus. Fucking 4, 10. Okay, so yeah, roll for damage.
Yes!
Okay. Damage.
Oh yeah!
So
Oh
it's
yeah!
Calder
1d8.
dies. Calder just falls over dead.
I'm the
That
rat. Why
is-
didn't I die?
I feel like Calder.
7 points of damage at both.
Okay. The tiefling that was a burning husk is now he collapses to the ground in a heap, smoldering with some melted flesh. Thank you for that, Calda.
Healer gets a kill.
And our compatriot, the kind of half human looking fella, kind of just kind of locks eyes with you, Osfire, as your voice just kind of like crashes into the room, and he wasn't expecting it out of, because he knows his little friend down there, and his little friend is a little higher, and the words just kind of cut through him, and your magic washes over him, and you do him. He kind of like starts to kind of wince in pain. It's not a flame like firebolt. It's something entirely else, as it kind of burns away at his ether and his soul a little. He's wincing in agony. Oster is...
I'm going to add insult to injury, boy. I'm the one that heals people, and I just fucked you up.
Yeah, Calda would have turned to Osfire and said, "A connoisseur of death." And now she's smiling at you.
Yeah.
Oster...
You people are terrifying. I love it.
Oster barrels into the room, kind of past everybody else, runs up towards Talia at the table, and then just like quickly kind of looks at the table, looks at everybody kind of around, and then does a full donkey kick. Like his hands go up onto the table, and he's up, and he kicks back with both legs at the gentleman that was just been sacredly flamed.
I hope.
I don't fail, because that is a 15 plus. Bite me if you want.
Numbers.
It's a dirty 20. And
Dirty donkey 20.
Dirty donkey 20. And on a D8,
Donkey 20.
that is 6 plus
Hey,
3.
D8. That's the name of
Oh
the thing.
yeah, that's the name of this thing.
That's almost like it was Nintendo or something.
Yeah.
With a 9, he kicks the other bandit right into the side. Again, his maneuver is a bit odd. Like he ran to the table, sprung up off of it, and then kicked backwards. And he punts the guy across the room. He smashes into a wall, and he's down for the count. The halfling kind of looks around, and he bolts for the door at the other end of the room, swings it open, and standing there you see a rather wizened, leathery, cantankerous looking Leonin, about 3 inches taller than Thalia, covered in scars. The fur is torn and matted in places. He's scraggly. He wears a navy cloak as he barrels in. What in the blazes hell are you got to do with the scramblers? And then he sees what's looking... Oh, fuck. And he shoves the halfling back into the room at ye and books it back down the doorway. It is... Oh, the halfling. The halfling, that was his action. He's going to use the remainder of it to run after his boss. So they're running down the doorway. They're running for it.
Yeah. Do we see anything on the table?
There's...
Like I didn't... Or sorry. I'm going to take the scales first.
Okay. You pocket like a little mini scales. It's more... it wouldn't be for anything too big. Like it's like spices or something. Maybe.
That's fine. If I can put it on a necklace,
okay. Yeah, you could.
or something,
you could.
like there we go. I would also like to scan the table for a letter.
You're going to investigate the table. Anybody else? What's everybody else doing at the moment?
I'm going to look over the bodies.
Okay.
Ooh.
Give me a investigation check, Osfire, as well. Calda and Thalia.
I was thinking of running after them, but it depends. So she's gonna dash to the door and be like, "Are we going?" But I'll see what you're doing after.
How far away are they from us?
From where you kind of are, they are about from now. From where you are, you're 25 feet to the door, and they're about another 15 feet beyond it right now, at this moment.
And we're still in initiative.
Yes,
Are we?
sort of ish.
So I rolled a 19 on investigation.
I rolled a 14.
Yeah, I am looking for I'm looking for the letter. If I find anything else, bonus. You know.
Okay. So as you are kind of searching over the body of the guy that was donkey kicked, because the other guy's a husk of melt. Give me a roll of a.
Hope he didn't have the letter.
Yeah. Give me a roll of a D12, Oscar.
A D12. Hang on. A D12s. Because this fella doesn't use D12s. It's the reason, yeah, little fella. That will be a 5.
Okay, so this is from a random roll chart by Lady Tiefling. You have found a pair of fingerless gloves on the bandit. A lovely fashion accessory. You don't find a letter.
Wow.
Deceit.
Yes, I got a 14 on mine.
Rummaging through it, scales kind of pocketed. Yeah, there's gold. There's a kind of bread rolls. There's a kind of foodstuffs. It's a mishmash of like there's like random bundles of fabric. There's a lot of rope that Oster is eyeing. There's no letter.
Damn it. Okay, yes, we gotta get after them. And then I'll run towards the door again with Thalia.
Okay,
Yeah.
You're gonna go behind it. As ye bundle out of the room, after the halfling and the Leonin bandits, just as you spill out, Calda, you see and make note of something written on the wall, like it's a graffiti. Steal from the rich! Exclamation point. And then slightly kind of half scratched out, no, eat the rich! Exclamation point, which is slightly scratched out. And then underneath that, no, too fatty! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. You spiral out after the bandits.
Yeah.
Chasing them down the hallway, you come to a room roughly about the same size as where you found the first 3 bandits. And standing there, kind of trying to pull at a portcullis, and the halfling is trying to wedge himself through it. You see the Leonin leader just kind of looking at the 5 of us. Looks down at the halfling, who's kind of got like his neck and his head through the portcullis as he's trying to squeeze through. Okay, all right. How about we make a deal here? What are you after? What can I?
Deceit draws their rapier in like the most over melodramatic way and just says, "The letter or your life."
A letter. Half of us can't even bloody read. Letter, and the halfling just kind of starts to rummage around in his back pocket, and you just see his hand kind of just fishing through his arse pocket. A couple of coins fall out. As you're now prodding him.
No, I'm just like
okay.
urging.
I would sort of leave behind and be like, we don't necessarily want to kill you if we can get the letter. And she says it in a very straightforward way that's just sort of like, but we will.
Okay, so on that, the Leonin is now kind of like also rummaging through the halfling's pants, trying to find the letter. And he pulls out like a fishing lure, he pulls out half a eaten bread roll, and then he just grabs a bundle of paper and he looks at it and he's holding it. This?
I'll just snatch whatever he has out of his hand and just.
Great. So we get to.
We should check it
No.
first.
Yes, you. And
What
he
was the
points
guy's name?
to Thalia. We didn't get a name. I'm just like rummaging through the letters now.
You're just rummaging through the letter?
Through whatever it is that we got.
The envelope looks quite new, but the thing, as you're kind of, there's about 3 sheets of paper in it, Deceit, as you're rummaging through it. And the Leonin is now also trying to, like, he's still trying to lift the portcullis. The halfling is kind of half his body, like he's one arm and his head out the other side. There's 3 sheets of paper in it. The paper is very, very delicate. The writing is quite faded. It looks to be a very, very old letter. You can make out a handful of words on it. The pages themselves, as I said, aside from being delicate, they're clearly crinkled. And even sort of the edges are finer. This has obviously been read quite a lot. And on the first page, you just see a note to my darling sons.
I fold that out. Do the name? Was there any names on the letter?
As you're rifling through it, you just see on the last page clearly still sort of still it's probably the most pronounced part, the clearest part of the ink on the page. You just see Mama Rockseeker X.
And being from the area, does Rockseeker sound like a dwarven name?
You've heard of the Rockseekers. They're they're a clan of merchants.
Well, that'll do. Do you
Right,
want
so-
to kill them? And I turn to Talia.
We gave you the letter, so you gotta let us go, right? That was the deal.
Thalia goes over and starts to help them lift the portcullis.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, I knew you were a good one, love.
Well, I guess that's it.
Oh, what is
Shall we collect the rest of our coin?
And I do believe if we go this way, we'll probably find an easier way out than back through the shit.
Can you show us the way out?
No, you can. After
No, you should go first.
Okay, yeah, we'll go first.
You know
then.
the way.
Yeah.
I don't know where
Is there
I'm
anything
going.
else in the room, Declan?
Sorry.
Is there anything else in the room?
As you scope it out, there's not a whole lot here. There's a couple of cots. The odd barrel and crate and stuff like that are kind of being used as a table or a little side table with a candle on it and stuff like that. It seems to be like a living space.
Okay.
A very, very smelly living space.
Well then,
There's a few end or little bedside locker thingies.
There are.
I go for a route.
Okay, give me a investigation check.
15.
You kind of just, again, everybody else is kind of like gone through, or is everyone else going out the portcullis with the Leonin and the Halfling?
I'm going to make sure everyone is kept together. So if anyone's straggling behind, I'm going to kind of wait in between.
Okay.
Kind of like,
Yeah, Oster's
keeping
kind of
an eye.
Oster had kind of gone ahead and sees what you're doing, Oscar, so he's now kind of also doing the same thing. He's kind of like mimicking even the way you kind of stand. He's just kind of like holding.
I think Deceit is just waxing poetic with Talia, telling to this was a great little experience. Wonderful, wasn't it? Lovely.
And then I'm turning to the other Leonin, speaking in Leonin, like, do you know any good steak places in Neverwinter? I haven't been able to find any.
Have you considered a vegan diet? It's not as hard on the stomach.
No, I've got to keep my strength up. I've got to get that protein in.
But no, there's plenty of like non-meat based proteins, and he starts to talk to you about the benefits of a non-meat based diet.
I don't trust him.
Or
This information will not
rising.
filter through to me for some time.
As you're pilfering through the goods, Calda, you rolled a 15.
Yeah.
They don't have much. These guys. You do find a total of 2 copper pieces and
Score.
1 silver piece.
Wow.
Under the mattress, and the mattress is basically a sack with some very damp hay in it. You did find a small little book, slightly faded, and it's the erotic misadventures
There we are.
of Miss Greypurse.
Yeah.
She'll kind of hold
She's
it up.
multi-planner.
I couldn't.
Gingerly.
You can't
Yeah.
make me not do it.
And hand
It
it
doesn't matter what
to
plane of
Jay.
existence you're on. Rod's
think-
great purse exists.
I think this might interest you. And she's going to hand it out to Deceit.
Ooh, and Deceit just grabs it and just goes, oh, and then like thumbs through the book and is like, oh my,
Why are some of the pages stuck together?
I'm just gonna put this in my bag. It's never leaving there again. It is there forever.
As the group scarpers out to what is early dusk, it had been kind of mid to late afternoon, and trundling through the sewers, dealing with the bandits, and then navigating the labyrinth crypt, following the Leonin and the Halfling. They promise to never ever do crime again. They're going to get honest jobs, and all said with their fingers crossed behind their backs.
Very convincing.
Yeah, it is. They're very earnest. You make your way back through the city streets, thankfully still funky, and people are kind of giving you a wide berth as you head back towards the marketplace. And you see the dwarven man standing there, and he's his stall. Again, the marketplace is a lot quieter, a lot emptier than it was before. He kind of sees the five of us kind of meandering back, looking a little uncertain. But when he sees Oster just kind of grinning and giving this big sort of like, "Yeah, we did it! Yeah, no, we did it!"
In the interim, I would have given Oster the papers.
Okay.
Like, I was just like, you should give them back.
Okay. Are you? That's really cool. Thank you.
I mean, this seems important to you, so you should do it. It's your little moment.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, stop looking at me like that and just go do it.
Okay. Oscar, what do I say to him?
Just go on over and say, yeah, well, we have retrieved your very valuable and here's your thing. And maybe do it in a way that it was in such peril that maybe some extra coin might be involved for the loss of equipment and all these kind of perils we put ourselves through.
Okay.
I mean, I have significantly less clothes now than I had before.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast guidance on him as he goes past.
Oster.
I think
Yeah.
Deceit is going to cast thaumaturgy to make his voice sound like just a little bigger.
Okay. Oster kind of just moves over, and it's just, we have been in great. And he looks back over his shoulder at you, Osfire.
Peril.
Pearls. And my friend is not wearing clothes anymore.
Tell him about the man that melts his.
And we got your letter, and he hands it out, and he kind of like shoves it into the dwarves' face. And we didn't read it.
Oh no, I saw Deceit read the letter.
Oh, good.
We think because we
We tried
went.
to read it, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think we did a
Yes.
really good job, and my friends deserve a bonus. And
Precious.
stepping around the cart, an older human gentleman in fairly heavy-looking robes and leather guard, some kind of a shield draped over his back, and a long sword just kind of strapped as well. Thin, wispy grey hair kind of clinging to his head. Probably, again, late 40s, early 50s, around the same age as the dwarven fellow. One deep scar along his chin. He looks a bit tough. He looks a bit hardy. I smell burning flesh. Gundren, throw them a few extra coin. They've been through it. And the dwarf looks at him, looks back at Oster, looks over at the four of you. I tell you what. Your extra, we'll see to it that you get your 5 gold pieces from the captain of the guards. But 5 of you look like you can hold yourselves together. We need some guards. and he gestures at the cart behind him. 5 of you been to Phandelver before?
Never.
Great. Well, we're heading out today with this shipment. We're expecting another shipment in 2 days. And I reckon you lot can bring it to Phandelver for us.
And what's the going rate on all of this, if I might ask?
Guarding the cart, all your provisions paid for, board when you get to Phandelver, and payment.
Hmm.
Why don't we say 10 gold pieces each?
I mean, we do speak that kind of language, I guess. We'll have to confer, I guess.
Yeah, I have to ask my mum
I'm
and dad.
game. I almost killed someone today, so I should probably get out of town.
Maybe there'll be more people to kill out there.
I
I didn't
mean,
hear that.
Your mic dropped again, Fee. Your audio dropped again.
She just wants to kill
Oh,
more
okay.
people. She's excited.
Good.
So I'm leaving to kill people. I'm leaving because I may have killed people.
We're gonna be best
And I'm leaving for
friends.
money.
For money.
Best friend.
Oster kind of turns back to the 4 of you and kind of just this big grin on his face. You're not gonna believe this, but and he holds up. He takes from his back pocket a very damp looking piece of paper and he unfurls it, and it's a map of the town of Phandelver.
Oh,
Do you want to come to Phandelver with me?
well,
I mean,
you know what? I'm not doing anything anyway. My show is on hiatus for the moment, so I'm in.
I guess. Let's go.
And he looks quite earnestly at Calda and Thalia.
Calder just smiles.
Okay.
I think that's a creepy yes.
I do think that maybe we all kind of need a bath before we go anywhere.
Oh, terribly. And I know some wonderful bathhouses.
Yeah. Because I smell like shit.
Yes, you do.
And with that, Gundren kind of just takes Oster's hand, gives it a good firm shake. He gestures at the man standing beside him and introduces him as his bodyguard, Sildar, and Sildar Hallwinter. And they are setting out for Phandelver now, and they expect ye to arrive. They'll be there in 2 days. They expect ye to arrive in 4 days. So they're waiting 2 more days for their next carriage to arrive, giving ye plenty of time to plan, prepare for Oster to ask for permission. With that, Gundren sets about kind of packing the rest of the stuff away. He goes to hand Oster just a letter from his group. It's just kind of some instructions and then proof. It contains the Rockseeker seal that you are to deliver the supplies to Barthen's Provisions in the town of Phandelver. The evening draws to a close as Oster brings the 4 of you home to meet his mom and dad, who are kind of furious at first that their son, who had set out to put a notice on the market on a post board in the market, has been gone for the better part of a day, or at least 8 hours, and has not done any of his chores around the pub. The place is dingy. It is a dive bar. It is dusty, musty. There's a cross-eyed boar hanging over a fireplace. Ancient-looking tapestries hanging from the wall. There's a surly-looking Air Ganassi woman and an Earth Ganassi man sitting behind it, peeling potatoes, just kind of tutting. They're giving you the stink eye, Osfire, and Oster Cure Senior believes you to be a bad influence on his son, an older fellow like yourself, shouldn't be leading him astray on wild, mad adventures. And with that, we bring the prologue of our first episode of Lost in Minds of Phandelver with random DMs to a close. Thank you so much to Wayne, Philippa, Dahi, and Fiona for being absolutely phenomenal. Thank you, everybody in chat, for joining us this evening. We hopefully will see you again in 2 weeks. Now, there is one last thing to take care of, and that is, of course, our random dice roll. Now, I had hoped to try and do this in full view so I wouldn't be accused of rigging it. So you're going to have to bear with me for 2 seconds while I figure this the bloody heck out. Rigged. Okay, straight away already.
It's rigged, so Fiona can be next. Kidding.
So,
Well, now, Donnie.
Bang, bang,
Bang,
bang,
bang.
bang.
Okay, here we
Bang, 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 bang.
go. I'm just going to...
I think you're doing a very good job. Give me guidance.
And why is that doing that now? That would explain why that wasn't working 2 seconds ago.
Fix.
I mean, I literally will fix it, so it is you if you don't stop. I'm using the Google dice roller so that, again, I cannot be accused of fixing it. Okay, Fiona, you are 1. Dahi, you are 2. Wayne, you are 3. And Philippa, you will be 4. So, I'm just going to drop our little dice roller on screen. Hopefully everybody in chat can see it and that there are witnesses. I am going to roll it. And with that, it is Fiona!
We're all gonna die. I can't wait. We're all gonna die.
Phenomenal. So,
We're gonna be doing Stormwreck Isle after. No kidding.
Yes, yeah. So everyone start rolling up new characters.
Levels for
So
everybody.
2 weeks' time, on the 30th of March, Miss Fiona, our Calda, will be taking the Dungeon Master seat for the very first time ever, and for her very first DM stream ever.
I can't wait to do it in front of strangers. It's
does,
going to
it
really
does,
make
it
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 really
does.
easier.
It really does.
Really
It's
does.
a starter adventure. It'll be fun.
Yeah. It'll be great, and you will be awesome. And thank you so much to everybody who joined us this evening. Thank you so much to, again, Wayne, Philippa, Dahi, and Fiona for their time this evening. I had an absolute blast. I hope you all did as well. Just to quickly mention that, again, if you head over to Dakota Irish right now, purveyors of amazing dice, TTRPG accessories, t-shirts, teas, dice trays, you name it. Everything D&D related, everything TTRPG related. You can get your hands on some wonderful, wonderful goodies. And if you use the code DREAMDATES, that's Dream Dates with an 8 instead of letters, I got it there, you can avail of a 10% discount at the checkout. We also have a discount code with the Rook and the Raven, crafters of amazing customizable notebooks, whether you are a DM or a player. And if you use the code D8Dungeon at their checkout, you will get a discount. I think it's 15%. I think it's 15%. 10 or 15% anyway. Again, it's a really great discount. And again, a wonderful, wonderful small business that you can support. So do make sure you check out both the Rook and the Raven and Dakota Irish. I'm Declan. I was the Dungeon Master for this episode of Random DMs. I won't be the Dungeon Master next time round. But we are D8 Dungeon, and check us out on social media at D8 Dungeon. Check out our Discord server, and props to everybody this evening. I hope you all had a blast, and
Yay.
So much fun.
we will see you all very, very soon.
Bye.